What's up, you guys, and welcome back to some more r/slash real talk stories with your boy RT and my dude Dale. You guys, today we're going to dive into some Am I the A-hole stories where we find OP and his brother at odds with one another over a tattoo. Without any further ado, let's dive right on in.
This is a pretty cut and dry scenario. My, male 32, little brother Danny, male 25, has been in a string of relationships since he was young enough to know what dating was. On several occasions, the relationships ended because he was caught cheating with another girl. These are just the ones that I know about. There could be more. In fact, his current girlfriend, female 19, was the other woman from his previous relationship. He still lives with my parents, and I headed over on the 4th of July for a barbecue. When he reached out for a hug, I noticed his arm was super red and he showed me his brand new tattoo that he had literally just gotten. In huge letters it said loyalty in cursive. Where I might be the a-hole is that I kinda laughed as soon as I saw it and didn't try to hide it at all. He said what's so funny and I just said his tattoo was really ironic. He got pissed and stormed off to his room and didn't join my parents and I and our sister for dinner. I told them what happened and they said I was being an a-hole, and my sister said people are allowed to change. I personally think he's acting like a child by locking himself in his room and that I shouldn't be blamed for a 25-year-old storming off. So Reddit, am I the a-hole?
To be honest with you, I think it's very ironic that he was not necessarily the most loyal of partners, yet and still he turned around and decided to get loyalty written on his arm. It's kind of like, someone who is an avid liar, who is a professional liar, and they just get a tattoo that says honesty is key on their arm. I mean, it's like, why would you do that? Maybe, he doesn't fully realize that he's not the most loyal. Maybe he's hoping to be loyal as a result of the tattoo. Maybe he thinks the tattoo is going to help him to stay loyal to his future partners. Either way, OP, you are not the a-hole in this particular situation. I don't think anybody's the a-hole in this situation. I just think it's hilarious. Next story.
I, female 22, have lived in my apartment complex for 4 years, and I have an 8-year-old daughter. And yes, I know that I was very young when I had my daughter. But anyway, my job allows me to work from home, and as a bonus, when I don't have a lot of work to do, I can do my household chores like laundry, vacuuming, etc. I don't vacuum every day, maybe just like every couple of days, usually late mornings or early noonish. The issue stems from the fact that I can hear everything my neighbors from the side, above, and below me do. It doesn't bother me as much, but they can hear anything I do. Again, I don't play loud music. The only thing they'd likely hear is the TV if it's on very loud, or if I'm vacuuming. But because I do it in the middle of the day, I never get complaints up until now. Coral, female 34, moved in 3 weeks ago. We are cordial, and although cliché and weird for normal standards, a couple of days after she moved in, she came with a batch of cookies to give to me and the other neighbors. She introduced herself and she seemed nice, but a couple of days ago she knocked on my door as I was vacuuming. She was all smiles and happy, but told me in the most condescending way possible that her husband had worked a late shift and their 12-month-old baby boy was sleeping and was wondering if I could not vacuum right now, and that she would be happy to call back over again when they're both awake so they could continue on. I said no. The time of day in which I do vacuum is not stupid early or really, really late. I chose it because most people are going to be up, so I'm not disturbing a lot of people. I told her that I'm not going to change my time to suit her husband and baby. I get that it's not their fault for working late or, being a baby, and that she's just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. She started going off at me, calling me a childish whore, hinting at the fact that I was a teenage mother. She called me a witch, and then stormed into her apartment again. I've talked to friends, and while they say I'm entitled to clean my apartment whenever I want within reason, I could have been a bit nicer, and that how I reacted wasn't so nice. So am I the a-hole?
So I think it's absolutely hilarious that she told her brand new neighbor to suck it up. I mean, I think that is quite bold. I mean, especially for what could potentially have been like a second or third or fourth encounter that she had with this brand new neighbor. I don't think that was necessarily the best way to handle the situation. I think it was quite bold, but I understand the sentiment behind that. So on that degree, I do agree with OP's friends and family. She could have handled that situation a little bit differently, but I get why she said what she said, and I get why she's continuing to do what she's doing, because again, I lived in a condo with my parents at the tail end of my high school years, and I understand you can't do all the loud chores and loud activities at all hours of the day. I mean, you have to be very considerate of the people above, below, and on the sides of you if that's where you lay within that particular apartment complex or that condominium or whatever the case is. So I do completely understand that, and I think OP was being very reasonable for choosing to do all of her chores and all of the loud activities around noon, the middle part of the day. I mean, that's usually the time of day where everybody's up doing something. So I also understand that, you know, for children, I train my kid, and I say that as if he's an animal, but he's not. But I got him used to sleeping around noise, because the fact is, the world is a noisy place. So if you can get your children and your grown children, aka OP's neighbor's husband, to learn how to sleep during all hours of the day around all kinds of noise, then you'll have no problem. And then also, to take it even a step further, I mean, I'm not gonna label OP's neighbor as an a-hole, because OP's not an a-hole. Let's just get that out there. OP's neighbor, I'm not gonna label her as an a-hole, but I am gonna say this: OP's neighbor and OP's neighbor's husband are adults. I mean, you know, you chose the job you chose, you knew what that came with, as well as there is the option of just getting headphones, earbuds, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, long story short, not the a-hole in this particular situation.
So I need perspective. Am I the a-hole? My partner wants to go to this once-a-year show for his bday. He is a big aviation fan, and the event in question is an air show. We went last year and the year before. Usually it's a big thing where a bunch of us go. This year it'll just be him. Originally his parents were going to join, but they do crafts as a hobby and have a craft show that day. So they have said they're not going. Then it was supposed to be both of us going. We hadn't got tickets yet, we just talked about how we'd go. Then I got asked to be a bridesmaid in one of my longest friends' wedding on the same day as that show. My partner hasn't really spent much time with them, but he is invited to the wedding. I said yes. I was very excited to be her bridesmaid without putting the dates together, and how I technically had plans beforehand, even though we hadn't bought the tickets yet. The event is 3 hours west of us on that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, whereas the wedding is 3 hours east of us on that Saturday. I did mention going to the event Sunday instead so we could go to the wedding on Saturday, but that wasn't good enough. Now my partner is pissed because he has to go alone, and I'm pissed because I make a ton of compromises for things that are important for him. But it doesn't seem like he wants to reciprocate when something is important to me. Plus, he had the option to come to the wedding, but has decided not to. Also, we should note that the event is not on his actual birthday. Am I the a-hole? I'm pretty hurt because now it's bringing up other issues like how I'm always game for the plans he makes and would definitely be willing to compromise if the tables were turned. Not to mention this event happens every year. Yes, only once, but he can go next year, and a wedding you can't just attend the following year. So now we're in a big argument, and I'd love some perspective. Thanks in advance.
So OP is not the a-hole in this particular situation. I think that OP's partner is not necessarily the a-hole either. I think OP's partner is just very inconsiderate and not really willing to compromise. I think OP's partner might be a tad bit selfish as well. And I mean, I can understand why. It's his birthday and it's a situation where, you know, he just wants to experience this particular weekend in the way in which he's used to. However, you know, your birthday, if you are blessed to be able to experience your birthday every single year, it comes every single year, once a year. And this particular aviation event happens every single year, according to OP. And not even that, but it takes place on a 3-day weekend, on a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. So it's not like you're missing the whole thing by just missing one day. No, if you miss one day, you still got 2 days that you can attend. So I think it's a thing where OP's partner should have been a little bit more considerate about OP and his friends who were getting married. OP's partner should have been a little bit more considerate to the situation. I mean, again, prayerfully, weddings are a once in a lifetime thing. And in this particular situation, it was just one day. So literally they could have gone to the aviation event on that Friday, the wedding on Saturday, and then back to the aviation show on that Sunday. So I mean, I get why OP and her partner are having some issues, because it just seems like OP's partner is a bit selfish. But I'm not gonna say that he is an a-hole. I think that's something they gotta work through or whatnot. However, OP is definitely not the a-hole in this situation. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Do you think that OP is the a-hole? Do you think that OP should have just gone to that particular aviation event, or allowed her partner to go to the aviation event without any kind of issues or frustration? Do you think that OP's partner is an a-hole? Wherever you lie in the spectrum of things, you guys dive into the comment section. Let me know what you think about this particular story and all of the other stories, you guys. Y'all, we have brand new videos dropping every day, so be sure to hit the subscription button and the bell notification so that you are notified every time we drop a brand new real talk video. You guys, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed this content for the YouTube algorithm. And you guys, until next time, many blessings and much love, y'all.